It's like, and this is with the sliding door closed. So, do you have how are you doing, Xerxes?
This is how we are every day.
Huh? Oh, no, I know. I know. I was just about to make a little comment about your, you know, your cat indoors, but I think I will assume that you're having a bad hair day. It's okay. We won't say anything. It's okay.
Thank you, Gita.
I can't.
I
The other reason why.
appreciate your support every day, every single day.
So should we go get right into it and talk about October and what's been happening on the market?
I think we should talk about my bad hair day.
Well, considering we were both in the office late last night, actually, I was there till 8 o'clock. I think you left like half an hour before me. So clearly I'm working harder.
Or
No,
not working smarter.
Yeah, well, let's get into the market update.
I think that's a good idea. We'll be here all day. All right, so today we're talking about October market insight. So we're looking at a year-over-year comparison for October. Keep in mind, I will start off by saying this. I have started seeing some slight changes in the market relative to September. And
Say that again?
So relative to September and the summer in general, I
Oh, for
saw
sure.
October pick up. We've been in numerous number of multiple offers for several of our clients. And it's interesting to see in relative to September. So we have seen for those who would like to get a better understanding of where our inventory is, every Tuesday, follow Gita and Team Rajpal, you will get a market update as to inventory numbers for houses in the GTA as well as condos. So
Absolutely.
let's start this off. Gita, would you like to
just
talk about this?
going up off of what you said about starting to see more activity, and depending on which side of the coin you're on, it's going to be a little frustrating for buyers who are like, what, we're thinking that the market is down, and so we're going to have so many more options, and we'll be able to put conditional offers. So those options still exist. I think depending on where you're looking, what your price point is, but it's just also a word of caution for buyers to know that, if you're ready to make that move, make the move and start looking aggressively. Either way, multiple offer or not, that we're here for you. From a seller perspective, of course, that could get them a little excited, Xerxes, but it's also important for sellers with, I guess, larger homes, and depending on where they are in the GTA, to know that that's not something that's happening across the board.
No, it's definitely happening in the lower price point. But anytime we see a market starting to turn in a positive direction, we see the last ones to go up and the first ones to come down are typically the most expensive properties, right? Typically.
For sure.
So we will see that shift. It will take some time. Keep in mind, as we always say, it's a long-term game. So it's one of those things where it will play out. It just needs a couple months, and things will start hopefully moving in the right direction. There's many different aspects to this: interest rate, inventory, immigration numbers, things like that. Even unemployment numbers are going to play a huge role in this as well. So
unemployment, and then the just the general unrest with things in the world and how things are playing out, even from with the war and with supply chains being impacted. All of that kind of comes back around and impacts housing.
100%. So but to get into the nitty gritty a little bit as to relative to last October, so year over year, where are we at? So we are about just over 5.5% less than October 2021. Keep in mind, people, we have been seeing numbers, and we're going to go through this a little bit more in detail, but we've seen numbers where actually so far in 2022, relative to 2021, every month when we're doing these market updates, we've been saying, well, relative to last year, prices have been higher. Prices have been higher. And it's true, they haven't. Keep in mind, October, November, December, January, February, those 5 months was when the market was insane. That was when it started picking up in Q4. And that is when we hit our fall market and winter market, and it went bananas. So now we're going to start seeing that relationship change a little bit, where we're going to see numbers less than last year. At the same time.
Yes, and yeah, for sure. And again, putting it in perspective, it's not a significant, it's not a huge drop when you take a look at the price difference. I'd say probably the detached homes is where we've seen most of the drop, because of course this is an average. So definitely a bigger drop for detached homes, but you know, not the case for the smaller homes. And then sales to new listings ratio, which basically means for the number for 10 homes that are listed for sale. In an average, or what we consider a normal market, it's 48 to 50% that do not sell. When you're looking at this today, it is that 48% that are actually selling. And then you're looking at 83% that sold same time last year. So yes, definitely higher, but when you're looking at what we would call a more balanced or normal market, it is very common for up to 50 to 55% of the homes not to sell. So it's important to put that in perspective there. You want to move down?
Pardon me?
Are you going to the next slide? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm on the next slide here. So home sales. With regards to the actual sales, we're at about 49% relative to last year. So we are seeing the numbers on average come down approximately just under half, I would say, with regards to the number of homes that actually have sold relative to last year. So with that being said, when we look at the inventory is starting to fall as well, relative when we look at last year's inventory to this year's inventory. So you're seeing that inventory piece come down as well.
I mean, it's not in relation to, it's not coming down at the same rate that the sales are coming down. There's no doubt about that. So which does indicate that there's still, obviously there are people interested in getting their home sold.
100%. And then if we focus a little bit on home type, right? So this is where we just need to see it, and Geeta, this is where you talked about the year-over-year change for detached homes. We're seeing the biggest change in the value for detached homes in the GTA, whether we look at 416 or 905, down 11%. For semis, it's about 6.2. For townhouses, it's 3.9, and for condos, it's 1.8. Positive. It's actually gone up.
It's gone up, and also just make note that in the 416, there's been no change.
And the average price, but what has increased, and this is a piece that I think not a lot of people talk about, is when we look at the amount of condos that have been built from last year. There's obviously more condos that exist today than existed a year ago. So we need to take that into account. But even if we don't, we say, okay, there's been no change in values, and therefore the average price in the GTA has gone up 5.7%. So we launched a project in Pickering this last weekend, which has gone extremely well. We're very happy with the results. I think the developer is really happy as well to see the turnout. It was busy. It
Amazing.
was really, really busy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Like, exceptional response. I mean, because obviously, anybody, the Team Rajpal community watching this recording, or even watching live, or watching it as we send it out again, all of you have received the emails that we were sending out on the grant, and the response was phenomenal. It was actually exceptional. So, and Xerxes, you know, we always like to talk about projects that we believe in, that we are going to be investing in ourselves. We really, really want to see a large number of our community go there too.
100%. And that's the thing, right? Like when we look at the condo numbers here, it's very exciting to see the 905 actually performing in a sense better than the 416 this last month. So the point is that, as you see, the one trend is that the lower the value typically of the average price point, the better it's performing. So, and that's simply because a factor of demand, right? Like more people can afford 700,000 relative to $1 million, and et cetera, and the stress test has that impact as well. But this shows me that people are buying. This shows me there is strong demand, right? At the end of the day, we have to acknowledge the fact that we as Torontonians in the housing market have been spoiled over the last 10 years. Like,
yep.
And so this is normal. 30 days on market is normal. You know, having 40%, 50% sales happening is normal.
And it's spoiled in many ways. You're so right, because and I'm sorry I interrupted, but it's spoiled in so many ways, in terms of days on market, in terms of price point, in terms of how many homes actually sell, in terms of interest rates. I mean, it was free money for several years. And it was just simply a case of, well, when is that going to come to that point where, you know, people are going to have to pay out more, many of them having been gone through the stress test, and so, you know, knowing that they are qualified to pay more.
100%, couldn't agree more. So when we look now, we're looking more from a even more macro standpoint, like we're relating in fact the last 3 years relative to 2022. So for those who are on the fence with regards to, oops, sorry, I apologize. For those who are on the fence here as to, oh, what's going to happen in the long term, Geeta, you and I have these conversations. The whole team has this conversation every single day, multiple times a day. You know, where is the market going? And we say the same thing. The message is clear. If you're looking at a short-term horizon, 6 months or less, you are playing with fire. But if you're looking in a scenario in which you are looking more long-term,
I don't know if you froze or if I froze.
Oh, can you see me?
Xerxes, I cannot wait for you to move so that these little internet issues are going to stop.
I can't wait either. Trust me, I cannot wait. So what I was saying was, for those who are looking at a 6-month horizon, when you're buying property with a 6-month horizon in the timeline, you're taking a risk. The risk is much greater, I should say. But when we're looking at things more holistically in normal real estate timelines and horizons, and even 3 years is a short horizon for real estate, but I would like people to look at the
You there? Yeah.
Relative to 2019, we are up. Relative to 2020, when in March 2020, April 2020, we started seeing those interest rates start falling, we are up. Only relative to 2021, Q4 2021, that we are down. And I'm sure if you interviewed any Torontonian going down the street, take them back to October, November, December, January, February of last year and this year, it would all say the real estate market was not sustainable. That's the word they would use.
Exactly. And when you mentioned that, if you're looking at the 6-month horizon, then it's not, I just want to clarify there that you're referring to somebody that is essentially thinking about a flip.
Yeah,
And looking to buy and then sell again within that timeline. This is not talking about buyers that have a 6-month timeline to buy. But it's
correct.
about, I think that would be the only group of people that we would discourage from doing anything in real estate would be the traditional flippers. It's not really a market to be flipping in. And for everybody else, if you're buying and selling in the same market, or if you're a first-time buyer, it's in the long term, it all works itself out. So that's
100%.
yeah.
100%. And if we look at sales from a sale angle standpoint, sales are down relative to the last couple of years.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
if we look at, okay, well, prices are still relatively, on a good average here, and sales are down, it means that there's true value in these homes with regards to the market perception. Sellers are not just letting homes go, and buyers understand and see the value. There are sales comparables that are out there that are selling. So it is important for people to understand that, yes, is this a different market relative to earlier in the year, in the first quarter of the year? Yes, it is. But at the same time, people are not just going to let go of their homes willy-nilly.
Not only that, Xerxes, I think as well that for a lot of people, they could be looking at this and saying, oh, so demand has gone down. And demand actually has not gone down. The demand exists. And that is why for the homes that are selling, that price adjustment has not been that significant. But in today's market, pricing, presentation will be important. So presentation key in terms of how homes are being presented, but also the large group of buyers that are there, but they're just kind of in, taking a step back. The demand is there, the need is there. They're just waiting and watching for a little bit because that's what buyers do. That's what happens. It's a psychological impact of everything else that is going on around. It's the impact of the media. And so they're there, and it's just a question of they're wanting to come back into the market, but the demand has not gone away.
Absolutely. So where do we see this going, right? Like the forecast being, with regards to Toronto and the GTA, there have been some changes, and I just would like
exciting changes. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to interrupt because this was something that should have been done a long time ago, but this More Homes Built Fast Act that has finally been introduced for the province of Ontario is hopefully going to cause some of the much needed change for supply.
100%. And, we're looking at the need will be 1.5 million homes by 2031. 285,000 homes in Toronto by 2031. So we're talking about needing significant inventory increases, significant supply increases. I mean, the most number of homes I think has ever been built in 1 year without any supply chain issues, COVID issues, this, that, and the other, was I think close to 80,000 new homes. So This is a huge mission that has to be, we all have to participate in this. And you need more larger units because houses, literally houses,
once again, I don't know if it's you or me, but
reduced development charges on purpose-built rentals. I know even in the condo space in general, like Pickering, for example, the project we launched, it's low development charges. So your closing costs, the government is trying to target closing costs becoming more affordable.
Yes, and these are the and so these are the significant changes that are a part of this proposal. And here's the thing with with developers, if the numbers make sense, they're going to build. And so by
Exactly.
reducing these development charges, they're actually encouraging more developers to build, which in turn is going to help with purpose-built rentals as well.
Also, that rental buildings are stopped being demolished. Limiting third-party appeals from the Ontario Land Tribunal, making sure that we are streamlining this and making this with less red tape. That would be the bottom line.
Well,
So,
Xerxes, I have to mention something really strange, and what I really like about the limiting third-party appeals. So we got the public notice for our neighbors looking to extend their deck, but the amount of time, so all the neighbors, the entire street is now getting this notice. They're now getting everybody's support, but now they just did things differently, and they're now going door to door to speak to each neighbor, to get their okay, to get their support. So there is no issue when it comes time to their getting an approval on extending their deck, their own deck. And that's the kind of thing that they're looking to limit, where you have, one neighbor that has a beef with somebody and is now going to really delay their getting something done, which of course has to go by the guidelines and they have to follow whatever limitations they do according to the building and the housing development or the land tribunal. But having that much involvement by the public for something that is going to impact a personal household, I think makes no sense.
absolutely, and it's just at the end of the day, Geeta, it's about how do we get more people into homes. The government is encouraging people to move to Canada. It is a wonderful country to live in. I feel privileged to live here, and other people deserve that privilege as well. But it's at the same time having the infrastructure in order to say, well, come here, but we don't know what to do with you once you're here. It's pointless, right? So we need to make sure we have enough homes for the people that are coming here, and also the rate at which babies are being born. We have to look at this from a long-term perspective. This is not a 3-year, 5-year, to 2031. Oh, it's all solved. This is going to continue getting worse and worse and worse unless something is being done.
And not only that, it's also because it's a compounding effect for everything and everybody, because with the rentals as high as they are right now, the purpose-built rentals are going to help. The more supply is going to ease off the need for somebody who could otherwise be buying, and they're now going into rental properties. Well, now the people that can afford to buy, they're being pushed out of the rentals that they normally would have been able to afford, which then leads to increased homelessness. So it's such a domino effect that everything that they're doing right now needs to be done on a war footing.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And as always, follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, and TikTok. You got to follow us on TikTok. Geeta's great videos.
Yes, please. Yes, the star of the TikTok channel is yours truly. Thank you very much.
Reach out to us at info@gmail.com or 647-875-8000. Looking forward to speaking to you next week. Take care. Have a safe week.
We should do a poll on whether we should do a podcast. I know Nick has been talking about it for a long time, and maybe do we change this and do a podcast? It might actually be a good poll for us to do with our community.
Absolutely, we should send that out.
Yeah.
Well, have a wonderful day, Geeta.
You too.
Have a productive day.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.